Just after 6 o'clock, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. There is, I think, something going on downstairs, that might just happen down there, will come up, as they need to come in, so we'll go ahead and get started. So we're all here tonight, thanks for coming, those with us in person and those with us, virtually, to discuss the State Highway 42 TAP project, and all that entails, so we will get into it. So first, I just want to do some introductions. Most of you know me. I'm Megan Sawyer, I'm the village administrator. Other members of our staff here with us tonight are Madison Deason, she's our deputy administrator. Lynn Onizor, our clerk treasurer, she's with us virtually. And then village president John Heller is here with us, as well as a few of our other trustees, Lisa Van Lannen, Angela Lynch, Andrea Miller. I think that's everybody that's here. There might be some virtually as well. Getting into our construction team, then we have Shane Koffler. He's with Advanced Construction. He's our project superintendent. We also have Mike Simon. He's our project engineer with his Man Associates. From Wisconsin Public Service, we have Lynn Cole. And then Wisconsin Public Service has their own contractor on the project, MJ Electric. Tony Gartland is here. And then not with us, but the contact on the project with the Wisconsin DOT is Paul Bauer. All right, so an overview of what we're going to discuss with you all tonight. We will go through a project overview briefly, then we'll get into a review of the project schedule, a review of the formal project detour and alternate access route, and then points on access during construction, other project special provisions that we have, as well as information on where you can learn more after tonight's meeting and as construction continues to progress. If you've been to one of these meetings before, you know I always do some housekeeping before we get into the details. We do have a hybrid format tonight, so that means we have people here in person and people online. So those joining us virtually, please stay muted until the conclusion of the presentation. We do have a period at the end of the presentation that will take questions. You'll have an opportunity to either use the raise hand feature or the chat feature to be called on once we get to that point. Once we get to that point, if you're wishing to speak, please state your name and your address. And then if there's any specific property questions, you can speak with me or Mike Simon or a member of our construction crew after the project. We're happy to help you out. After tonight, you can definitely send me an email with any questions. And then tonight's meeting is being recorded. We will have the project presentation online as well as some other materials, access road maps, things like that. Those will be posted to our village website. And we'll have more specific slides on that as we get further in the presentation. So a quick project overview. The State Highway 42 TAP project is referred to as the TAP project because we received some grant funding through the Transportation Alternative Program for the project specifically. The project limits include South Trail to Harbor School Road on the south end, and then County Highway E to Church Street on the north end of the town. So the project scope includes installation of storm sewer within those project limits, bike lanes, 5-foot sidewalk with a 6-foot grass green terrace, street lighting and street trees. It is important to point out that that is the project that we have going on currently. There is an additional project for the State Highway 42 road construction that is in the core area, which is the Harbor School Road to County Highway East section that has not started yet. That project will be let in early February, and then the work will likely begin end of February, early March. There will be a separate public meeting similar to tonight prior to the start of that construction. And we'll go through project specifics for that project specifically at that time. So there will be another meeting before that project starts in the same format. This is a quick cross section just to show you what the final product will look like. Now getting into the project schedule. This is a copy of Advanced current schedule. This is available on our website. Just important to remember that it will have to be revised over time. We're doing construction in the middle of winter, so we're going to have days where the crew can't work due to weather. So it is going to be a moving target. Currently, the schedule is set up to start in January and work through spring, and then potentially come back, have the contractor come back in fall and avoid our busy season. With that said, however, advanced construction's goal is to have the project done in its entirety by Memorial Day, if at all possible. So that is their goal. We'll see if the weather cooperates with us, but that is what they're working towards. So we don't necessarily want them here into June, but we'll get into that a little bit if they have to be. And if we can avoid them coming back in fall and get everything done by Memorial Day, that would be great. So a little bit more on the project timeline specifically. As of right now, what's happening now in January through March, we have blasting that's happening on the north end. And then we have the installation of storm sewer that will happen between now and March. From March to May, there will be sanitary and water adjustments, removals and grading. They'll start working on the installation of the new sidewalk, installation of the new street lighting, pavement marking, reinstallation of the street signage, and restoration. So I'm gonna pause there. Anything I missed? I need just points I need to make. Okay. So in addition to the village's road projects, the Wisconsin DOT also has some repaving projects going on. One of those is gonna pass through the village limits. It's gonna start up on Rainbow Ridge on the top of the Egg Harbor Hill, and it's gonna work its way up through Gibraltar. So the Wisconsin DOT very recently let that project, they set that project schedule to happen from April to June. We're expecting them to be here in the limits of Egg Harbor in June. Which is fantastic. It would be great to have the road repaved and ready to go before the 4th of July holiday. So the DOT has some specific information on their repaving projects. Again, there are two, one further south, and then the one that starts at the Rainbow Ridge intersection. So that website there on the bottom, again, this will be posted on the website, is where you can find more information on the DOT's project specifically. You can also give them a call via that 511 number, and you'll speak directly to the project manager and get some information there. So we are expecting them in June. Prior to our project beginning, we weren't sure when the DOT was going to be coming through. When we learned that they were going to be coming through, we realized that since the DOT was going to be coming in and doing work anyway, if our contractor did need to lead into June, that we would give them the opportunity to do that. Again, advanced construction's goal is to get out of here before that. We haven't let that core project yet, so we're not sure what that schedule looks like. With that being said, the detour will fully be removed on weekends starting the Friday before Memorial Day, and it will also be fully removed on over the Juneteenth holiday, if it continues into June. So. Another element of this project outside of our current road construction that we have going on is the utility burial. That's why WPS and MJ Electric are with us tonight. So utility burial has begun on a section of County Highway E, and it has and will continue along State Highway 42. Utility burial project limits include a small section north of E, and then from County Highway E to Harbor School Road. So in that core project section is where the utilities are buried. WPS did have to do some utility pole relocation in the top sections. That is completed. So I have on here that an additional construction crew may begin work in the southern section mid-January to help expedite progress of the project. Just heard from MJ Electric today that they're not going to do that. They're going to just move from the north to the south. I don't know, Tony, if you wanted to jump in on that, or we can wait till the end. Okay.
Yeah, we can wait till the end of this question.
Okay. Sure. All right, so on the official detour info, as you all likely have seen the sign of them, the State Highway 42 detour is in effect. That detour runs starting in Carlsbad County High. It's important to point out that as State 42 is a state highway, we were required to run that detour along county and state roads by the Wisconsin DOT. So it's not ideal. That is what we have to do for the DOT. So the official detour is imposed for through traffic. So through traffic is defined as vehicles that are passing through an area without originating or stopping there. State Highway 42 is open to local traffic. which is defined as vehicles with a destination within the work zone. So the efficient detour again is now in effect, it's going to be back on January 2nd, and it will run officially through June 28th, but again, it will be removed on weekends, starting Memorial Day weekend through June, and it may be re-implemented in fall if needed. That would be after Fall Fest weekend. Again, definitely trying to avoid that. So I know that the detour signs are not ideal, but we have to live with them. We have open for business signage that's going to be placed along State Highway 42. There'll be 4 signs on the south end detour, 3 on the north end. Those are being installed by the Door County Highway Department. We do expect them to be installed by the end of the week. They say Egg Harbor business is open and accessible, and they're placed along the detour route. So as we continue to progress to the village, you're continually reminded that our businesses are open and accessible. We also had some wayfinding signage that's been installed along the alternate access routes. The middle of winter, so we will have to keep up on maintenance of that signage. But we have it up for now, and we will continue to keep an eye on it and make sure that it's up and good to go to help people find their way. Then we also have an alternate access routes map that's been developed, been distributed to our businesses, available on our website, BHBA's website. We also have paper copies out in the hallway here if you want to grab one as you leave. It's been distributed via Paperboy, via posters, published in the Peninsula Pulse, and shared on social media as well. So as a reminder, local traffic only. If you live, work, or you're stopping at a business in a road closure, you can go through traffic. Vehicles that are using the roadway as a thoroughfare, passing through without originating or stopping within the road closure, you need to use an alternate access route or the detour. We'll take questions on later if you don't know. So, has some information here. Pause. Think we're back. Okay, fabulous. So that's some information here in the Wisconsin state statute regarding rules of the road, what that means when you're navigating through the road closure. But again, if you live, work, stopping at a business within the road closure, you are allowed to pass through. If you have the opportunity to take an alternate route, it's the best option. It's not always going to be the safest option to be driving through. We definitely can drive through, and access will be maintained in local traffic. This is the alternate access route that we did develop, and again, there's copies in the hallway and posted online. So access to businesses will be maintained via various routes, however, at times there will be delays and inconveniences. Again, in order to keep everybody safe, there may be times when the contractor stops and asks you to take an alternate route. But access will be maintained to our businesses as much as possible. So some more in-depth info on our alternate routes. Again, I just kind of highlighted what is on the map. I think as construction progresses, people will get more comfortable using these alternate routes. We also have Orchard Road and Market Street that provide our lateral connections to downtown. And then we have public parking at various sites throughout the village. I'm going to have Mike review our property accessibility and other special provisions.
Just going to go over a few of the access requirements of the contracts. You know what the expectations are during construction. For residential driveways, access will be maintained throughout construction, except when if the contractor is working right in front of your house, you may not have access at that time. It could be a disruption to your access. The contractor will give you 24 hours notice. You have time to plan ahead. If you have a trailer or something you need to get out, they're going to work with you on that. Other than that, it'll be open except for cure time on concrete. We got concrete, curb and gutter, sidewalk, and driveway aprons for the project. So that's the contractor has 1 week to close those and get the cure time needed on that concrete. If you have more than one access to your home, the contractor only has to maintain access to one of those entrances that at all times. Commercial entrances, access again, we maintain at all times. They will be constructed in halves or some other method to make sure you get in and out of the driveways. Again, there's 2 accesses. They only have to maintain access to one of them. Mail delivery and post out coordination. These are some changes on this. Maybe you could talk about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so as we were approaching the project, we attended the meeting back in October across the street. In working with the post office did request that anybody with a mailbox along the construction route work with the post office on mail delivery. So if you haven't done that, please stop in, talk to Tom or Mandy. They will be able to assist you, but they ask that you just work directly with them on your preferences for your mail.
On the deliveries, when we have deliveries at half use Highway 42, just let the delivery people know that they expect delays, they're going through a construction zone. They'll make sure they get to their destination, but there will be delays due to construction. Possibly. Pedestrian access will be maintained. If there's sidewalk on a section of Highway 42 now, then access on that side of the road, access on at least one side of the road has to be maintained at all times. So WPS will be the first one to be disrupting sidewalk. So they'll be setting up signage to divert pedestrian traffic over the opposite side of the road. Same will be going on in the construction of the core project when that starts, and there's a little bit of that in the north end of the south path and south end of north path for pedestrian access. Fire number and address signs, those will be removed prior to grading operations, instead be outside the limits of scope intercepts, reset, and then when construction is done, they'll reset those right at the right of way, so we see where they are. School bus stops, department and contract for coordinating with Gibraltar School.
We'll put some on there.
Okay.
But I think we're all good.
Yeah, some bus stops now, where,
I don't know if there's any in the tap section specifically, but there is some in the form. So,
Yeah, some good to call in.
in the tab?
Yeah, I have it in the voice.
Okay.
we're working on coordinating with the school on that. Survey monuments, that always have during construction, survey monuments are going to be disturbed. We've located all those prior to construction, they're shown on the right of the plat, and we'll be resetting those after construction. If the contractor is going to make sure if he sees any irons, he's going to verify they're on the plat or not. If they aren't on the plat, he'll let us know, we'll tie those off. So if they get put back where their current location. Sewer and water laterals are throughout the project. Those will be maintained. Some of those may have to be adjusted during construction to accommodate the storm sewer construction, and that'll be something that will be determined while they're out there digging. Snow removal.
In the core section, and then they'll be taking care of it in the.
Okay, so it's a contract requirement in the tap system, there's been some back and forth with DOT today on that, but the contract will be maintained. Storm removal in the tap sections, and then York County will be doing the removal in the core, in the area where W is. And then private refuse and recyclable collection, and that's in the contract. The contractor is going to work with the companies that do provide those services and make sure those are maintained during construction.
Okay, so some information on where you can find more, that would be the Village of Egg Harbor webpage, which we have up in the left-hand corner there. Again, the webpage will be updated with the recording of tonight's presentation, as well as the presentation itself. So if there's anything on any of the slides we're hoping to capture, that will be posted up on our village website, as well as the meeting recording. The Egg Harbor Business Association also has a webpage that is specifically dedicated to the project. So that is there, and then the village administration office, you can always stop by, call, email, and get a hold of me if you're looking for specific information as well. So in the contract, we do have regularly scheduled monthly progress meetings with the contractor. That we will review, discuss the project schedule, status of operations, coordination needs, access needs, et cetera. That will allow us to provide a monthly update via the village website, give people an update on how construction is progressing, especially as we're trying to get this project done before the season. And then also, we're gonna be working with the contractors, meaning Advanced Construction and NJ Electric, providing weekly updates on where they will be working so that we can help push more information out to help people navigate and know where they need to bypass in the village on a week-to-week basis. So this is the icon on the state, or on the Village of Lake Harbor's webpage. So if you scroll down to the bottom, or if you're on a mobile phone and you scroll, this is what will come up for the highway project specifically. You can just click on that, it'll take you directly to the page. All right, so we've gotten to the question section. Again, if you are with us virtually, please either use the raise hand feature or chat the Village of Lake Harbor participant, and we will call on you or reach your question. If you have a question after tonight that comes to you tomorrow, feel free to reach out to me via email. Email address is there. If you have any specific questions, feel free to stop me, Mike Simon, Shane with Advance, and we're happy to help you get any specific property questions answered.
Yeah. So with on-street parking, is it okay for customers to use that until the construction really gets going downtown or something like that? Will that be plowed then?
Yes,
And so we can still encourage customers to use that? They're not in the way of anybody?
no, so there's only street parking in the core section right now.
Right.
That project hasn't started, so until that construction project starts and the parking is disturbed, parking can be utilized and it will be plowed.
Okay, and the same with the shoveling and the sidewalks and all that stuff?
Yeah, so
as
they'll
long
be
as
taking
possible.
care of the snow removal on the sidewalk sections that aren't under active construction. And aren't closed. So again, as Mike mentioned, access on one side of the street or the other. So there might be some instances where you have to cross the street where you wouldn't have had to otherwise as we move through construction. But the village will continue to take care of snow removal on the sidewalks.
Great.
This gentleman here. Sorry.
I'm Tom Bauer, I represent Harbor Bluff condos at 7973 State
Yeah.
Highway 42, just past the hardware store and across the street. We have 18 owners, 18 units in there. Is our property considered commercial? Will you put half the apron in at a time that we have access? Our driveway is also about 250 yards long
Okay,
to the buildings from the road.
and that's something, so if it's. Whatever we need to do, you know, if you guys are using it, if, let's say if it was shut down at the time when we come through and put the curb in. And nobody's needs access, we would do the whole thing at once, but if there's people that need to get in, then yes, we would do it half at a time.
I live there full time,
Okay.
and there's one other unit that's full time at this time.
Okay, then we'll definitely do it half at a time.
So every driveway entrance will have a concrete apron,
Yes.
Yes.
and, okay. And then another question, I know they started blasting the roadway on Monday. And I talked to the contractor, I was actually there to witness the blasting, it was incredible, 230 feet of roadway in 3 seconds, by 9:30 in the morning, it was all gone. But he had said that they are disconnecting pipes that service the building, I'm thinking sewers, temporarily as they blast.
Yes,
So will they be blasting all that roadway up to Church Street?
yes, it will.
Okay.
That is the plan. We are temporarily disconnecting sewer laterals. That's just for safety purposes. And then as soon as the blast is done, we'll come back and hook it up. So you don't have to stop use, just continue as per usual
Okay,
and no issues on that.
okay, we are on a force main, we pump our sewage out to the roadway lateral. So would I be notified so I could turn our pump off that it wouldn't?
You can
turn
keep it on.
We can keep it on.
Yep.
Okay. Very good.
Angela, did you have a question?
Yeah, so since we're on that topic, what is the cure time on the concrete?
It's gonna be 7 days unless you high release strength. concrete, we have that item in the contract, so the contract will kind of use it at their discretion where it's needed.
Yeah, basically, if it's a commercial driveway that, you know, even if we do half at a time, it's still a tight radius, you know. You have deliveries that need to happen and trucks that need to get in, even if half at a time, that would get for higher lift strength and then. Is that bigger or not? There's no super higher.
No,
Okay, so the higher lift strength would, or the early strength would be 3 days, 72.
Did you hear? 3 days. 30 days.
Better,
Right.
Hi, I'm MJ Gustafson, representing Harbor Ridge Winery, 4690 Rainbow Ridge Court. I understand that you can't specifically address our questions regarding the Rainbow Ridge Road or Court project, but can you safely tell us that when the repavement job is being done, it'll be one lane at a time so that our customers will have full access to Highway 42? Does anybody know that? I mean, they wouldn't completely shut down 42 to repave, correct? Would they do it one side at a time?
So we don't, that's not our construction contract, so I don't want to answer tonight, because I don't know the answer, but I will find out and I can follow up. with you.
Okay, somebody in that business though, is it typical to do one side at a time? Sir, do you know?
Typically, they would do one half at a time.
Okay, that's my
Basically
question.
set up a flagging operation, they. You know, mill off the side that they're working on.
yes, that's
Okay,
You know that?
So I received notice from the DOT today that they are gonna. Having a detour route from 42 at the split by the mill. Up County B, County A, and W. Oh, they are not gonna do flagging operations, it's gonna be a full tour
For both of their projects,
for the
for the Rainbow Ridge.
mid junction to County T.
So that's a further south one.
Yeah.
So this one's the specific, Rainbow Ridge. So,
you're saying that we're gonna be completely closed in front of the winery?
That one goes to
So
Rainbow.
very similar to what was.
that one goes to Rainbow Ridge?
Yes, it goes from the mill to Rainbow Ridge is what he's talking about.
Okay,
So very similar to what was explained earlier. If it's local traffic, if somebody has a stop along that route, they're gonna be permitted to go through. But if for somebody passing through, let's say their final destination is Fish Creek, the expectation is that they're gonna follow the detour.
Okay, so customers, if they know from us that we're open, can still get to us.
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And can we petition for flagging or not? Or is that just something that people are gonna laugh at us about?
Right from,
Good question.
let me find it. In prior correspondence, Wisconsin DOT has indicated that the project construction will be entirely performed while open to through traffic with single lane closures via flagging operation. However, since that time, Wisconsin DOT approved a permit to allow the village of Egg Harbor to close and detour Wisconsin State Highway 42 from County I to County E as part of their local village project on Wisconsin 42, which began 1/2 of 2024. In addition, during the advertisement period from Wisconsin DOT resurfacing project letting, bidding contractors also voiced concern about the ability to construct the project under traffic according to the specific maximum lane closure widths. Hence, to reduce traffic delay and to improve safety throughout the project, Wisconsin DOT has decided to make use of the Village of Wisconsin 42 detour and extend it southward to the mid-junction with State Highway 57. The extension of the Wisconsin DOT closure detour is anticipated to begin in mid-April. Wisconsin Highway 42 detour will then follow Wisconsin 57, County B, County A, and County E.
so that's, DOT project specifically, and again, you can reach out to the DOT specifically, via that website or by calling 511, and they can get you some more information, so that's where I would direct you on that project
Fair
specifically.
enough, thank you.
Alright.
So I'm gonna go back to something that Karen alluded to, it's just about winter.
Yeah,
And I just know this past weekend. Church Street has a lot of traffic now, do the detour, and I would just ask that the village plow that road fully, or make sure it's fully plowed. And I think when our policy is 4 inches, we don't shovel or
Yeah, on
clear the
Sundays.
sidewalk. But I think we need to pay attention to that and perhaps rethink that if there are, events scheduled for the weekend. Because if we're trying to get everybody to use this road, which a lot of people are, it has to be accessible more than it normally is.
Sure.
So I think you really have to think about that.
Yep, so, we did talk, Public Works and I did talk about that, we haven't set a new threshold yet, but we are in communications on that. And then, we're gonna check with the Dorchester Highway Department to see why they don't do the parking lane on Church Street. If they won't do it, because they're worried about their equipment or whatever, we have another contractor the village uses that we're in contract with about them potentially doing it, or the village staff taking care of it also, so that is on our radar.
Okay, and the same thing goes for like Market Street, that those parking lanes weren't plowed either
Okay,
until today.
okay,
Plowed it all.
okay,
And I don't know who's doing that.
right, okay. I will continue to follow up on that, okay, because there's more coming.
While we're on snow, is there any way we could have the village even like, plow our access road that goes from Main Street Market's parking lot to Main Street Shops?
Not public property.
Okay.
Sorry.
Even during the project? You
I
can't
would
sign a
need
waiver of some
I would
sort
need
to,
approval from, I mean, when we did Church Street, we ran into issues with that, with one of the owners of that access. I would need permission from all the owners of that access, so we ran into that issue when we did Church Street, and one of the owners did not want us.
so that's me, it's Karen, it's Nature Works, Main Street Shops, and then just that other person. So
Right,
can you call and ask them if
I
it's
can,
okay? I mean, I think it'd be smart. There's gonna be a lot of trucks in this area, people trying to maneuver.
I can ask, if we would need explicit permission from everybody though. Cause we did run into that on Church Street and we're told to stop, so, but I can definitely ask. See,
Yes, are the signs that say no access to Egg Harbor coming down?
they're not, so we have the Egg Harbor open and accessible signs that we're gonna go up along the route to help.
Where's it going?
That is a Wisconsin DOT requirement, I'm as frustrated as you, but it's their road, we have to play by their rules unfortunately. So that's the signage they're required, we did reach out to them and asked if we could change the verbiage. Not.
So this very orange sign, it comes before the more tempered down white sign.
Yeah.
It's also the
Theoretically, the sign were to
Yeah.
put it here.
So
but
then
People have-
the scary sign first, if you get all the way through to Charles.
Yeah, if you continue on to the village, there's, you know,
So our signs that you're gonna be putting up for ones, they're gonna be around.
yeah, there will be one at County Eye, and then as you continue to progress north, there are more.
But isn't the ordinance farther south? So-
It is a bit further south than County Eye, but, our sign, I don't know the exact placement, but it will be kind of in that general area.
Let's count it as first place, you know.
Right. Mhm. Mhm.
So with the signs, is there any way we can get more informative with the signs that you just put up that are better than just businesses open this way, that way? Because I feel, I'm guessing these construction men aren't liking the traffic that they're getting. It's not gonna help us to get this project done. So if we as a village can do better with our signage and put people's business names on them and say this way, that way, could we do the north is an orange section, the mid is red, the south is blue, so then people, we, on our social medias, as business owners, we can say, to get to village, follow the red. To get to Main Street Market, follow the blue. I just think there's a lot better ways we could direct the traffic, because I'm sure these guys are as frustrated as we are. People are going through. It's not gonna
Well,
stop, as well as this DOT from I to Rainbow Ridge. It's not gonna help anybody, and it's
Sure.
not gonna be safe.
I think, as people use the alternate access routes more, they'll get more familiar. With that said, we are open and willing to continue to make improvements as we progress here.
And then can
So-
we partner with the town, or are they not allowing us to put village business this way, like on Heritage Road? And
We can partner with the town. I did talk to the county about that, and, you know, that is, where they're plowing. They were gonna talk to the DOT and the town about potentially doing some signage there. But yes, I think that would help so that when you're bypassing on the south end, So we can definitely talk about improving signage in that area specifically.
And I feel like the north end totally got forgotten on your blow up. I mean, you guys blew up the middle of town, but there's nothing for the north end of town. You can't see E, you can't see Church to get to Village Cafe. I just feel that some of us are in areas like Steve and I, Bay Point, people that are living in their area. I mean, just to have some communication, because twice now, as I've brought up to your attention, we've been closed at all access. So if blasting only takes 3 hours, why aren't we doing it from 1:30 to 5:30, for instance, when my business is closed? You have this great Excel spreadsheet to show us when things are happening. How don't you know when businesses are open and closed? I think the majority of us are closed Tuesday through Thursday. I mean, I think there's some better ways to do this, and maybe you should ask a few of us that are barking now to help you with the signage and to spend some time and help with that. So it doesn't all fall on you. And I think you're gonna have better results with all of us sitting here that are concerned if you would call us or show up at our doorstep when you know we have concerns, instead of ignoring us and not answering phones or answering texts and emails. This all could have been avoided for several of us. Some of us.
They're doing a good job, so don't say that they're.
I didn't say no,
ignoring
I didn't say anything,
things.
Cambria.
You did.
No, I
You
didn't.
just said they're ignoring your emails and phone
They
calls.
did for me.
Okay.
So you haven't
Okay,
answered me and I haven't
any
even
additional
emailed you.
comments or questions?
I'm not done yet. I just think that that could really help things out a lot here.
Okay,
So
we hear you.
I think you guys did a great job too, after we said, hey, no one's marking where they dug things up after that first snow. When I put it on the email or on my Facebook space, just to let people know, if you're walking the village this weekend, nothing is marked. So I recommended shoveling snow on top of it. That's what I had to do in front of Mojo's. There's just a bunch of rocks there, but now I see it's been marked. So I think you're listening to some of these things.
I think too,
Definitely.
we're a week into construction. What I would tell you is we're definitely open and willing to make improvements as we continue to progress. So, and I feel like we've been doing that and we'll continue to do that. So it is a fluid situation, it's construction, each day is different. There's gonna be the unexpected that comes up that we have to work around. I know that our crews, MJ Electric and Advance are trying to maintain access as much as possible. There's gonna be times when safety is a concern and they have to close access, but they're really trying to do that as least amount as possible, so I don't wanna.
Oh, and I don't think the village has done a poor job. I just think it'd be great if you guys just reached out a little bit to people that have concerns.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think people should have to look where they're walking and fall in a hole or trip over something. Again, I think that that has been remedied, which is great. I just don't like the comments I'm seeing from some of our trustees on some of these notes also on social media. And you also have to remember that some of us have year-round businesses, so we don't have a dress shop with one person where we can close, because that's jeopardizing people that work for me year-round. There's several of us in the village that do this. I know some of you don't, but some of us do. And if honestly, we can't do business on Tuesday and Thursday, let us know. We'll close. I'll tell them to get unemployment. You know, if that's really what we need to get this project done, I'm open to hearing that instead of just kind of not being able to get to my restaurant on
I hear
Mondays
you,
and Thursdays.
and like I said, we wanna continue to make improvements and as we progress, and we will continue to do so.
And what does weekends mean when you take down the signs? Cause like last Friday, you guys were out of there so early. Is that typical? Is it gonna be like noon to Monday morning? Are we gonna be open this Monday? It's Martin Luther King weekend?
Right.
No, I know that, but what do you consider the weekend when that happens?
It would be Friday to Monday.
Okay, and then are we gonna be careful this Monday since it's Martin Luther King? It's usually a busier weekend and so is President's Day weekend, or?
So there's nothing in the contract for those holidays specifically,
Just so the
when we
workers
get-
know, those are key weekends, and it's just one now and one in February.
So, I
They're
think
3-day
it's important
weekends.
too, that access is fully open when the crew's not here, at least in one month. So they'll be able to, business patrons will be able to get through. They're not gonna, unless there's a significant safety concern, they're gonna keep access open at least one lane on either side of it.
But this Monday and President's Day Monday, just so the construction people know, we have an uptick in business because Illinois has that day off. That's usually typically a busier. If you're planning on blasting Monday, you might want to wait till Tuesday. Just saying, I know. But those are the 2 Mondays that I would be concerned about in the future.
Thank you. Tom?
Yeah, just example on E, right before I came here, it says no through traffic. Now you're telling me on social media, are those coming down? Is that what you're saying? Those are gonna be changed?
No.
Okay, so you're gonna go on social media and the paper saying there is through traffic.
Local traffic,
local traffic,
local traffic.
okay.
It's not gonna change on the weekend either. It's just gonna.
But
stay
yet
there.
when anybody pulls
Local
up, it says no
Yeah.
through traffic,
It
it
says
says no
common
through
knowledge.
traffic.
That's fine, saying.
So it's, you know, it's conflicting, so
It's a public education, it's an
Yeah.
education, people.
Yeah, and
the
how do you
public
want us to
understanding
actually
local-
say it on our
that's gonna be
website, on
tough
our
to
site?
educate people
Local
coming
traffic
from
only.
Chicago.
We have members of the sheriff department here, what's, in your opinion, the best? No through traffic, open to local traffic, what's the best?
Like I said, if they're originating or their destination or a stop is somewhere in the village, that's permitted traffic.
They are local
That's
traffic.
local traffic.
And
So I think an
So how do you,
piece on-
how do you, yeah, how do you control
A
that?
lot of people don't know that.
So I just found out about this meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
And I did have the opportunity to talk to some of our deputies. And I have Sergeant Medlin here, he supervises portions of our day shift and our afternoon shift. So I did call a number of deputies today and find out how are they doing traffic enforcement. And some of them haven't done any yet, but the ones that did told me that they will follow vehicles, and if they go completely through the construction zone,
Right.
that's when they're gonna make a stop and issue a warning. And the purpose of the warning is if we have a repeated offender, so they're able to access that through our mobile data computers. We have a repeated person that's just ignoring it and not using the detour and
Yeah.
it really sets the basis for issuing a citation. My knowledge, we have not issued any citations. Deputies have made stops though and are using it as the opportunity to educate people.
I think it's important to remember that we're under a construction site, as Kim alluded to earlier. There are areas that, you know, are not as accessible or as easy to access because we're under construction. So in order to keep everybody safe, if you are through traffic, you should not be coming through the village. You should be using an alternate access route or the detour. If you are local traffic and you're making a stop, live, work, stopping at a business, you can come through. So.
this is my question earlier, in regard to that, if it's after 7 PM and before 5 AM, can someone drive through?
It is the same standard at
No
all.
matter what
times.
time it is.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
That,
Can somebody tell me why, when did it snow, like 5, 6 days ago, not yesterday? When we got snow 5, 6 days ago? The sign that said detour at Hillside got knocked over by a snowplow. And it laid there until yesterday. All the construction guys had to drive by it, I'm sure some police officers. I was just like. We just, you know, that's a nice short way around instead of going way down to Carlsbad, just kinda. You know,
Sure.
I mean, there have been 50 people drive by it 5 days, for 5, 6 days
sure,
that do construction. I just thought that was kind of odd.
okay.
So I was the one who stood that one back up, and I have talked to all of I have 2 crews up here. I have talked to everyone on them, that if they do see something like that, be sure that we pick it up, so that way the people that aren't familiar.
Because that's a nice little short one for a lot of
Right.
people that are
Yeah, no,
local.
I
Shoot, you
I
know.
saw it, I totally understand where you're coming from.
Well, I just left it there, I wasn't gonna pick, I was like, let's just see how long it lays on the ground, you know? That's what I saw before, when like during Labor Day or something, they would, in fact, on E and 42, when they put the dumb sign back after Labor Day, it was like 4 feet too far, so it wasn't in one lane open anymore, so I called the officers and, can you guys move that over? They're like, yeah, if it's light enough for a guy, you know. But it's just weird who would put it back up, which, I don't know who that was. What
Sounds
they
like
were.
you're on top of it.
I'm like,
What happens if anything?
I'm like,
We have a question online.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah, just one section. Oh, sure. So, the question is, as the project gets closer to spring and the road becomes busier, will the gates at the marina be open during this project? Yes, because they are open now. So if you're not familiar, if you go down Rock Road, you can drive through onto White Cliff. We have the gates open in the winter. We will keep them open into May. And then we'll probably assess the situation in June. I would think we would be able to keep them open. No, I don't think boating season really picks up until around that 4th of July holiday. So I would think we could work with our marina staff to keep them open. Fire chief is okay, good, great. Better check with the boss. Ken, you had a question?
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that I didn't get the notice that there was construction north of Egg Harbor. So you're basically
Yes.
saying there's construction from the mill all the way to Gibraltar School?
No, not to the Gibraltar School, it is, I have the actual road, and that is for. Bluff Road, okay, Bluff Road in Gibraltar, and that is the DOT project.
There's multiple. Where's Bluff Road?
Right on
Top
top
of
of the
the
hill,
hill.
Jenville?
right where this house then. You Get into.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, if I'm a tourist, I'm sorry, I'm going 57, forget all you guys. I'm sorry, that's what I'm gonna do. So, I mean, I might as well shut for. It's definitely the month of April, May and June, because that's when they're talking about.
The
shutting
DOT
down.
project, correct. Mhm.
This is. I understand.
Any additional questions, anything? Yeah,
Do you have a recommended contact with the Department of Transportation that
Yeah.
you could provide?
yep, Paul Brower is, the Northeast Region Manager, project manager. So that would be who I would recommend you start with.
Okay.
Again, if you go to that link on the webpage, you'll get him. I think if you dial that 511 number, you end up in the Northeast Region office as well.
Thank you.
It's having public information.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that, I thought of that earlier, and I didn't, remember to say it, but they are having a public information meeting on their project. Separate from ours, that is a separate project. I believe that is sometime this month as well. Take a look at that website, because I don't want to say the date now, because I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to get it wrong. So just take a look at it.
Isn't that an awful lot of project to take on in once?
For the DOT, or
Yeah.
just in general?
Yeah.
Hey, I can tell you we're doing our project because they were coming through, so we're trying to align all the pieces and get it all done at once, instead of ours happening this year and theirs happening next year, so there is a rhyme or reason, but yes, it is a lot. Karen.
I just want to say that the village is doing a great job. Megan is doing a great job. Megan and John were out Monday afternoon in the wet muck, hanging these signs along Church Street and other places in the village for our businesses to say that we are all open. It's week one, what are we? 6 days of construction. This is a long project. It's winter. There's a lot of stuff that's gonna happen that nobody can predict, and I think we as business owners need to be proactive, and we need to do whatever we can when we're open to let our customers know how to get to us, because these guys are doing the best they can. And it's not a perfect science. And I appreciate all that you guys are doing, and I thank you, because it's not easy and you're getting a lot of crap. But you guys are doing a really good job. And for Megan Sawyer and John Heller to be out hanging signs for our businesses is crazy.
Well, who's supposed to do it?
Why
Let
don't
us help
we
us.
do it?
Well, tell us.
Why wasn't
Put
it
us,
done?
why wasn't it done 2
Started
weeks ago? No one,
I'm just saying.
I know, this isn't fair. Hold the phone.
Yeah.
If you have regular customers, just please reiterate to them to be patient.
And safe, which we've done on our websites, Karen, if you haven't looked.
If they're-
We've all done it. We've all done
I'm
it.
not arguing with you. I am thanking these two, okay?
I know, but
That's
it
what
is
I'm
their
doing.
job to help us to do business. Our
Okay.
tax dollars paid that.
Shane has a comment, so I'm gonna,
I just wanted to say, just have your regulars, anyone that passes through your shop, your restaurant, your business, to just be patient. If there's an excavator that is taking up the road lane, they will get out of the way, I promise you. It may take 2 minutes, it may take 3 minutes, it may take 30 seconds. I know my guys have made comments that, you know, a car is parked for 15 seconds and they're already turning around.
Mhm.
Okay. Understandably, people don't know exactly everything that's happening. If you can tell them to just be patient, if they have a question, they can more than stop and, you know, flag somebody down. We'll make sure that they can get through, and get to your business. I understand, you know, we're trying to make money and you guys are trying to make money at the same time, so. We're not trying to hinder anyone.
No, and we want to help you to do it, but we
Right.
just need better communication. That's
Okay.
all.
I've got a quick question for him. We've had a few 53-foot semis. Do you prefer, we're located right across from the grocery store.
Okay.
So what we've been doing is sending them down South Trail, G, Shipwrecked over.
Okay,
Is there any way, I don't think those guys can fit through from the south. I mean, do you prefer that,
that is.
at least for right now?
For right now, that's no problem.
Okay,
Um,
I,
Until, yeah.
Yeah.
It gets there.
and honestly, if you guys, as things change, could just help us out that way with, especially with the semis.
Yeah.
That, and say, okay, that was before, now we'd rather do it this way.
Yep.
That would be great communication.
Yeah.
Cause those guys usually aren't familiar, or at least our drivers aren't always familiar with this area. And now with it being winter and all that.
Where
are you located again? And do you have a
We're at Maxwell's house. We're on the highway. We're right across from the grocery store.
And I'm assuming when you do those half curtains, like at the Village Cafe, for instance, there's no way my truck's gonna get in there either. So can you let us know when you're gonna do it? Because I have 2 businesses, so I could very easily have them drop it off at Mojo's and I could
Yeah.
bring it in my truck.
we
There
can-
are ways to do this if we know.
We can also take some steel plates, add some gravel. I mean, we're making a mess of everything. We can make it temporary. You know, we can make it wider on the north side while the south side is being constructed and then same flip flop it. So.
But it may be easy. I can do that for you if I know when it's happening.
That too, coming through the south end. So right now, the south end is tight. We're right down the center lane. I think we have about 10 feet. Give us this time next week, we should be over in just the northbound lane. And it'll be easier to, you know, if the semis do need to come through the south end of town, that shouldn't be a problem. Say we can today.
All right, thank you.
Question over here?
No, I was just saying, I followed your truck. I live across from the church. So I might be one of those, I pulled up and I saw cars were coming the other way, and so I decided I didn't want to get in the way of your guys, because they were dumping, doing all this stuff. So if it is preferred that I do that route down to G and come down from Shipwreck, I can make that loop.
Yeah,
But
that's fine for now, and like I said, if you give us a week, I mean, that south end is tight, you know, with right where the barricades are, there's a lot of stuff, and we're starting right in the center of the road. But we're gonna get over, like I said, to the northbound lane, and then it'll open things up, I mean, not wide open, but
Yeah.
it'll give you a full lane, no problem.
We wanna get people through as safe as possible and keep them as safe as possible, so we're all doing what we can to make that happen. There's a lot of moving pieces with all of this, because there's lots of contracts and things going on. But again, we wanna help continue to make the next. Yeah, right here, yeah.
Just a question, have you been in communication with Destination Door County? Because I would assume that they could do a lot in terms of helping inform, especially the tourist population, in terms of the fact that Egg Harbor is open for business. I'm assuming you've been in conversation with them.
We have, they had Facebook, social media posts today, actually.
Okay.
On the alternate access routes as
Okay.
well, and we'll continue to work with them through the Egg Harbor Business Association and do, more promotional pieces and things like that, especially as we get closer to season.
Okay, thank you.
So, you're welcome. Huh,
I got a concern, and I live on 7990 Church Street, Highway 42. So they're coming from Fish Creek heading south, and they're taking a left down Church Street.
Yeah.
And they're moving right along. They're just, because they don't have to stop, so there's a lot of traffic on that road now, so is the local police, we're gonna keep a little eye on the speed coming in and going up and down Church Street.
I think they're keeping a good
Is
eye
that-
on us. I think
Yeah,
they're gonna
because that
continue
road's
to-
narrow too, and it's got hills in it, wide
Yeah.
hills, so if you wanna walk on that road, I wouldn't recommend it right now.
Sure,
It's pretty dangerous, so.
sure.
So from an enforcement standpoint, our deputies prioritize the school zones and construction zones. So expect to
Yeah.
see an increased presence from the sheriff's office here.
I mean, I've already seen it, the volume and the speeds already, so.
Yeah,
but
they're trying to keep
yeah.
everybody safe. As
Thank
we're
you.
under construction, so
Thank
they're
you.
here, and it sounds like they're gonna continue to keep an eye on all us, so. Any additional questions online, guys? Okay, well, I wanna thank everybody for coming. Yes, I'm.
I got one question, this is something later down the road, whoever's doing the sewer lines, what determines where the manholes go?
It's getting lectured.
They seem to be,
Question.
they seem to be consistently in the path of your tires, is there a reason, or is there a way they?
They used to be 2 feet.
I mean,
over
why don't they,
tilted
is there,
until they
that's
redid
just
it.
the way they
Moved
end
the
up,
road
is
over.
that what happens, or how do they determine where that goes? Cause usually they're quite
Plan
low.
is not to have the manhole covers in the wheel
Most of them, are, but okay,
when the job.
They're
is
real
done.
stuff.
yeah,
Like some areas like we're tying,
Yeah.
existing box, like we're tying,
Okay.
into the existing location.
yeah, because they don't sit very flush, so you know what happens. It's a built-in manhole.
I do have one more question. How do you want us to alert you if there is something that concerns us? Is there a protocol you want? Is there a project manager dedicated to this at the village right now, or?
We have an on-site gentleman from McMahon that's on site every day. So he's kind of the eyes and ears of what happens. So if something's going on, you call me. My first phone call is gonna be him. Or to Shane or one of the guys with MJ Electric. So you can reach out to me and then I'll get in contact with them.
Megan, and the electric people didn't talk at all.
Yeah.
Did you?
Do you want to talk about your revised schedule a little bit before we wrap up?
Sure.
Good, thank you for the reminder.
So we, here, started, my name is Tony Garland, I'm with the electric, I'm the project manager. And to your question that you had, do you see any of our guys out and about, as we get closer to you guys' businesses? Which is right, like anyone wrote down and, oh, sorry, can you hear me better?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can flag them down, we'll have a full-time, general foreman and, myself will be up here pretty regularly. So if you see any of our MJ guys, you can grab them, ask them any questions you want, and they may or may not be able to give you an answer, but they can definitely get in contact with us and we can get you one. But we are starting on E, and we were working our way around the corner, and we'll be working south out of town towards Harvest Road. So we did just make the corner today on E, so I know that road's been kind of hard to get through with us there right now, but that should be getting better as we are rounding that corner, and so you should be able to access down through EU, because we did have to pull it down in a couple days. Just with all the trucks in and out, it just wasn't super safe to have vehicles, you know, trying to drive around the barricades and then drive around our equipment, so I apologize for the inconvenience, but we will do what we can to try to make your lives as easy as possible while we try to get through town here.
And are you really gonna be able to save our trees at Trio? On EN 42, are all those trees gonna stay now? Cause we were told they're all getting ripped out, so I'm really thankful for that.
Do they have green wrap or orange wrap on them? I didn't have it.
They didn't have any wrap on them, they're just hanging on by a thread. So I'm hoping they stay.
Where is that at?
You're on the corner of 42 and you're parking in our parking lot in the back.
Okay, so then.
Yeah.
Okay,
So all the trees were removed through that area.
For WPS, yes.
They're real big, tall
2 greens and like 3
trees.
hardwood trees.
Well, should take a
They're
photo
still
at
there.
it, Kim, and.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that also, because any tree that the arborist wrap with a certain color.
There's nothing on them.
Try to prevent them from dying, but when you go.
It was a
through
pleasant surprise today. I was like, they're still there.
Well, when they go through the roots though, they will guarantee.
I know, that's why I'm
that
surprised.
They are going to live, so. If we left them and they're through the area, it's a possibility they're gonna stay, but they may not make it another season.
Right.
Depending on their regrowth, so.
And I'll just clarify on our project on E, also so that you have their expectations for staying.
All right, cool.
Okay, it looks like Greg, I'm not sure if you're still online, but I did miss a chat from you. He asked for clarification on where those additional open Egg Harbor businesses open and accessible signs are going. So there will be 4 on the south end from the County Highway I detour as you progress north towards the village, and then there will be 3 opposite as you progress towards the village heading south on the north end of the detour. So that's where those will be located, so.
Maybe one more thing.
Yeah.
On the electric schedule, one more thing, so. Since, we're not going north of E right now, because of all the work that's being done up there, with the advance. That's gonna hit at the end of the project, so once we get through the south end, then we're gonna circle back to the north end, so just so you know, that'll be later towards the end of the project.
And I just want to clarify that north of E is a small section. They go about up to the Methodist Church. And then that is the portion of E, that's north of E, so it's just a bit north of E, it's not the whole north section, just to clarify.
For the electric.
For the electric, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I go all the way to Church Street.
Yeah, with that.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, last time Delaware Church Street electric is just right over here.
So I read that the village has signed a contract with AT&T for the high-speed fiber.
That is the town of Egg Harbor.
But it
not-
said it was a 2-year window to complete, is that correct?
I don't know, 'cause that's, AT&T signed with the town of Egg Harbor for broadband. The village of Egg Harbor is in conversations with Frontier. We expect those conversations to, come to fruition, but we don't have a signed contract today, and we don't have an anticipated schedule on that. What I will tell you all, good point to make, is that Frontier is planning on putting in conduit for that future fiber while this project is going on. Obviously, we don't want them to come back and rip up our brand new road. So we are working with them on that. So more information to come on that, whole separate public meeting once we get ready to shout from the rooftops what's happening with broadband. So. All right, well, thanks everybody for coming tonight, whether you're here in person or online virtually. Again, please refer yourself to our website for the meeting recording and a copy of the presentation. Feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everybody.